What's up, everybody? We're gonna do a bit of a different stream today. We are gonna just do some farming and just play some Diablo. We're not working on a specific character today. We're just playing some Diablo, kind of going as it, seeing how it goes. Probably doing some. We're gonna try and do some Terror Zones and other farming if we decide to. But we're gonna focus on the Terror Zones at least at first. The next one coming up is supposed to be the Stony Tomb for offline. So then we're going to use a fire character because Stony Tomb doesn't have any innate fire immunes. And so we'll go over the character and the gear real quick, and then we'll get into farming until the Terror Zone pops. So, since we're a fire character, we have Initiate as Temper. It has +2 to sorceress skills, a bunch of FCR, and we rolled 20% fire skill damage and some energy. So, that's just like a big boost of damage. Like 2k. So, and then we also have a rock stopper just for pile resistances, because our resistances were pretty rough. This would be better if this was like a rare circlet or something, but rock stopper is okay for now. We have an Ormus robes that rolled 14% fire resist or fire skill damage, which isn't bad, and +3 to fireball. So again, this is like 2k damage right here. +3 to fire skills and some strength on our amulet, a spirit shield, just a faster unlock boots with a little bit of magic find and a pile of fire res to help make up for our sunder charm. Again, a ring with resistances. This one happens to have more fire res than anything else. We have T-Gods just for, it has strength, vitality, and this is honestly just for like resistances, and we don't really I don't have an extra arachnid mesh. This would be better served if this was an arachnid mesh, but that's what we have. Just another FCR ring with some fire res, and then Mage Fist. And then for our charms, we have a Fire Skiller, a Flame Rift, an old version, not the new one. I don't have any of the new ones yet. I think I picked up my first new one recently, like the other day, I think. And then I have just Fire Resist Charm, All Resist Charm, and then a Geeds. And then just some resistance and life and magic find and gobbledygook. I have an assassin torch. I don't have any sorceress torches. I've farmed a small pile of torches with my paladin, and I have about 1 million assassin and Amazon torches, and that's about it. So I don't have any paladin torches. I don't have any sorceress torches, and which is hilarious because those are the two characters that I probably play the most. But that's the breaks. I have one Annihilus charm, so I share it with characters when I'm doing high level farming, and it's 20, 11, and 8% experience. So it's not great, but it's not terrible. As we can see, our stats, we do 10 to 11k fireball damage. We can see we're hitting we have 123 faster cast rate. If this was 35% instead of 33%, we could take off a little bit, and then we'd still be fine. But since not, well, here we are. And then we'll look at our skills real quick. Just have 1 point of frozen armor, static teleport, the things you normally have. And then we maxed out fireball, and then the synergies are firebolt and meteor, so we maxed out firebolt and meteor. Of course, we maxed out fire mastery since we're a fire build. And then we got warmth, and we're putting the rest of our points into enchant just to buff up our mercenary, basically. You could put those extra points into static or whatever else you want. I'm choosing to do enchant, so. And then we have and then our meteor damage is like, 1 billion, so. Let's go to do some farming. Obviously this character, we don't have all the skillers, and we don't have a proper torch and all that stuff, so this could be much stronger. And we also don't have some of the endgame rune words, like we could put like a phoenix shield and stuff if we really wanted to. And some facets would also be helpful, but for, I don't play a ton of endgame, and I have a bunch of characters, so that how I play, this isn't bad. So we'll go ahead and do this for a little bit. We got a couple minutes so we'll just. So as you can see, Fireball, if you never played a fire sort before, Fireball does, I mean, we're shooting super fast, and we do like 10k per shot. So, and some things that aren't fire immune just get like exploded by this build. And we're not even rocking Infinity. We have a Insight for our Mercenary. I only own one Infinity, and sometimes I'm not lazy and I'll pass it around, but other times I'm lazy and I don't want to do that, so. And as you see, when we use Meteor, it's just like instant death. And Stony Tomb is going to be the Terror Zone here in a minute, so we'll go and make our way in that direction. Apparently I don't have all the Terror Zones for this character. That's alright, or all the waypoints, but that's alright. We can fix that. These are fire immune, so I don't really want to deal with that. There we go. Gorefoot, we already have that for, apparently we already have that for the Grail. Kind of figured we did, but since the reset, I haven't done a ton of magic finding since they added that feature. So there's a bunch of things that I don't have on my Grail that I would assume that I had, but so I still kind of am in the mode of just identifying everything, just in case there's something I don't have that I, you know, should. Oh, apparently it's not the tomb, it's Stonyfield and Tristram. That's weird. The thing online said it was... Huh. Maybe the site didn't update it properly. Alright, well I guess we'll do that then. That's fine. I don't... The Stonyfield has Fallens that are fire immune, but other than that, it's you know, in there, whatever. And we could always switch to a different character if we want, but let's still do the Stony. Whoa, that was a cool glitch. It was trying to be Act 2 and Act 1 at the same time. I don't think I've ever seen that before. Interesting. Yeah, we don't want to. We're not going to waste our time here. So we may switch to a character that isn't fire for this TZ. I was hoping it was the Stony because I like farming the Stony, and I wanted to play fire, but you know, so them's the breaks sometimes. That's another thing I still need to do is I still need to set up my loot filters because, as you can see, I haven't done that yet. Oh, there's Wrecking Issue. Alright, we're not going to worry about Wrecking Issue there. Terrible. That weird too. She was like super shadowy in the character select screen. That was interesting. Some visual bugs going on. Alright, let's check those gloves, see if they were any good, and then probably switch to a non-fire character since Stony and Tristram both are full of Fallen, and Fallen are fire immune, which is annoying as hell. And we are on players 3. I like to farm on players 3 when I can. It's just more efficient. It's more better. More better. Let's see. +2 to martial arts, some Frost Nova. Blech. Okay. So let's see. Who do we want to do? So the skeletons are lightning immune, so maybe we do a colder. Let's do a physical character. Let's do Boazon. We can go over the character too. Today is kind of just, like I said, just a farming stream, just kind of chilling, playing whatever. We'll get back to our Triangles Necro and our Vengeance Paladin at some point, but I just want to take some time to... Today, I actually just went to the pharmacy to pick up some stuff, and then was like, oh crap, I haven't streamed today. So we'll go over the character real quick. Let's go grab our Annie. So we have G-Face with the IAS jewel in there, because the Crushing Blow and the Deadly Strike, mainly the Deadly Strike, is really nice, and some attack speed is great. We have Cat's Eye for increased faster run walk and attack speed to hit some breakpoints, and it gives a bunch of dexterity and defense versus missile. We have a Treachery, because plus, I mean, the increased attack speed is really great, and we have a chance to get Venom, which is fine. Cold Resist is fine. This could be Enigma. Again, I'm not, super uber rich, and I don't play the endgame a ton, so I only have one Enigma, so I don't always transfer it over, but it's fine. Treachery is fine. This could also be a Mania, would be fine here, or Hysteria, whatever it's called. Nat's Boots just for a pile of resistances. Mana Leech Ring with some damage and some resistances and attack rating. Razor Tail for Pierce. Raven Frost for the obvious reasons. We don't want to be frozen, and it's pile of dexterity and attack rating. It's literally everything we could possibly want in a ring. Laying of Hands, because the IAS, but also the damage to demons is actually very, very good. And the fire resist is also great, because we're lacking for resistances, because we are using a bow. But the damage to demons is insane. Most of a lot of the monsters in the game are demons, and 350% damage to demons means we just melt demons. Because we do a ton of damage, because we're using a Wind Force. We don't have a Faith. So Wind Force is, but I like Wind. Also, I just really like Wind Force. I think it's really cool. It's the classic. 20% IAS, pile of enhanced damage, pile of maximum damage, also some Mana Leech, also knockback, which on a bow is awesome, and then some strength and dexterity. Charms, we have just damage and attack rating charms, just a whole pile of them, and some resistances on life. We do have an Amazon Torch, 1519, and then we have our Annie, and then yeah, that's basically what we're doing. So we'll check out the skills in the Mercenary as well. So the skills, nothing in jabs, and we are a multi-shot and strafe build, so we have maxed out multi-shot, guided arrow, and strafe. You could kind of pick one or the other, and then you'd have extra skill points to go like Valkyrie, where I'm not doing that. I'm just going pure. I like to have both skills. As you can see, I have strafe or multi-shot on this side and strafe on this side. I just find that that's really fun for me. And then we have 1-point wonders and dodge, avoid, evade. A whole pile on penetrate for attack rating. Pierce to get up to 100%, which we could actually take a point out of this. Probably a few points to get down to 67% because we have Razor Tail. And then critical strike is just where we're piling the rest of our points because we want after penetrate, because we want that chance to do double damage. And so if we look at our sheet, our multi-shot damage and our strafe damage before our mercenary is 3,500 and 5,600, 5,700, and our attack rating is 10k and 17k. So our attack rating is pretty good. You'll notice our life pool is very small. That's because our dexterity is 420. We're an almost all dex build. We have a little bit into vitality and some strength for wielding our gear. But the little bit of vitality, if we had ideal gear, this would go away, and this would be base, and it would all be in dexterity and strength to wield gear. But the dexterity also, it increases our damage. So the more dexterity points we pump into it, the more damage we're going to do. As you can see, our resistances are terrible, but we also just don't get hit. That's the goal. This character is a glass cannon, so we just kite all to hell. And then on swap, we have a harmony bow to run around faster in town. So this kind of makes up for the lack of the Enigma. But anyway, so let's go. We'll go to the Rogue encampment first, and then we'll go to the Stony Field. I like to go to the main town first, because sometimes when you change acts, the loading time is pretty egregious, and you don't want to just get randomly ganked at the waypoint, which most generally doesn't happen, but every once in a while, some waypoints you can get just murdered at. So. And generally my rule of thumb is I use the multi-shot when there's many enemies on the screen, and when there's only a couple enemies, I'll use strafe. And then especially if there's like one, like a boss monster left, that's when strafe really comes into play. I don't carry any mana potions because we have mana leech, but then again, that doesn't work on undead. So when we're killing undead, that that becomes an issue. But also, you'll notice we don't really get the knockback with our multi-shot, and that the reason for that is when you use multi-shot, on hit procs only affect like the middle 2 arrows for some reason. So you don't get like chance to cast skills and stuff like that on all the arrows. It's just those middle 2 arrows, and that includes the knockback. But I mean, as you can see, we're on players 3. We're melting things. Boazon is generally not a player's 8 build unless you're really geared to the 9s. But in my opinion, it is my favorite build in the game as far as what I think is like the most fun to play. There's also just like the cool factor. I mean, anyone who grew up watching Lord of the Rings or reading the books like I did, like Aragorn but like Legolas runs around with a bow and just murders everything in sight, and that's just like really dope. So I tend to in games, if there is a bow character, I tend to gravitate towards that character because of that. Legolas I was a big fan of him when I was a kid. I still am, but I think as I've gotten older, I definitely appreciate Gimli a lot more. Oh, I have crap in here. Okay, well, whoops. All right, let's go get rid of that stuff real quick. I didn't know there was a pile of gems in there. I guess I was playing this before and I kind of stopped in the middle of a run or something. And let's just identify this jewel and see if it's worth keeping. Probably end up just crafting with that, but whatever. Alright. Also, most of the time people will, when they do the physical Boazon, they'll play through the game as the elemental version, because it's just a lot easier playthrough. Because you can use explosive arrow to get through a large chunk of the game without really needing any gear. I did this playthrough as the physical Boazon because that's what I wanted to do and it was fun. Definitely way more challenging though. But again, also there is the benefit of there's not a ton of physical immunes in the game. I mean, there are some in there, but they're kind of like in specific pockets of the game. And so when you get to Hell and the Frost Maiden and the explosive arrows on get kind of screwed over from immunities. We don't really. We generally want to keep our mercenary between us and ranged enemies because we don't have any health. But we do have the dodge, avoid, and evade, so we're able to juke out some of that stuff. And this is why we love like Fallen or Flayers or any of those kind of monsters, because we just murder them. Looks like there's a guy in this building that's rezzing these over and over again. Yeah, I find this build is just, it brings me a lot of joy whenever I'm just like, I want to just like chill and just play Diablo 2 and like really enjoy myself and not like focus on anything. This is a character that I will often go to. My Blizz source is kind of like that too, where like I've just played it so much and then played that character like so many times that it's like comfortable. And then a few other ones that kind of do that, scratch that itch for me. It's actually like the Summoner Necro, the Fishmancer. And it's just like, he's especially good for it because he's just like, you kind of just turn my brain off and run around because he's like super safe, right? Like enemies don't, I mean, I have a million summons, so I don't have to worry about enemies. Oops. And we'll go and put away our 175 poison damage. I wish this was a small charm, but I kind of am currently collecting those charms for something later to be used. Yeah, this character is she's very, very fun. I haven't done I haven't done really any heralding with her. I think I've fought a couple of heralds with her. So we'll see what happens, how that goes if one of them shows up, I think. But again, we're fighting from such a distance that usually we're pretty safe. The thing that would be a bit dangerous is if we spawn a herald that's like physical immune extra fast and like cursed or something, then that would be a bit of a problem. But ow. But as we can see, getting hit's bad. That was a third of my life from just a random hawk. So okay, when we see these things, we definitely want to keep our mercenary in between us. Ow, damn it. Oh yeah, one thing about the multi-shot is you can control how thin or widespread the distribution of your arrows are by how close you fire from yourself. The closer I am, the wider. The further I am, the more narrow the cone is. So. Yeah, we leveled. Haven't done that in a while. So we're going to go all dex, and then we're going to go into critical strike. I think I'm at the point where I don't need the attack rating anymore. Again, we have 10,000 and 18,000 attack rating, depending on which skill we're using. So I think we're at the point now that attack rating we're pretty good, but attack rating is at a premium with this character. You do not want to miss, especially since, as you can see, when we're firing strafe, I cannot move until that is done. So you want to hit stuff. As if you're just sitting there whiffing and they run past your arrows and punch you in the face, that's very bad. So you do not want to miss with this character. Also, especially like for the Diablo fight, you definitely don't want to just like stand there forever and let him lightning hose you. So when you fight Diablo, you definitely that's one of the reasons why we have all the points in a guided arrow. One, it's a synergy, so it adds damage, but also guided arrow is how we kill bosses, because that way we can just fire off a couple guided arrows from a distance, and then kite around, and then fire off a few guided arrows, and then rinse and repeat. You know, and I forgot we're not even using Wind Force right now. I was like, we're not killing things quite as easy as we normally do. Harmony is fine. You don't need Wind Force or Faith. That's one of the things that I like to share with people is because most of my characters are not like I don't have any characters that I would consider are like done, that are like this is perfectly optimized. I have all my charms and a crap. Like I don't have any of that. So I can kind of show people like this is what the character looks like when you've got some stuff, but you're not like done. You know. Because a lot of times when you look up guides, it's like, well, you have Enigma and this and this and this. And it's like, well, what if you don't have that stuff, right? Like, not everyone has that, especially right away. And especially if this is the character that you're using to farm to get that stuff. So I like to show kind of a more realistic view of what your character is gonna look like at various stages of your progression. And I think I hope that is useful for people. Ooh, an Archon staff. That's actually kind of cool. 3. Damn it. There is some random cool stuff you can do with an Archon staff. One, if it rolls unique, it's Mang Song's Lesson, so that's pretty dope. But also, you can actually make like an amazing beat stick with an Archon staff. I think it's called Obsession. It's like it's like 6 sockets and takes like a bunch of crazy stuff, but including like a Zod rune. But it's indestructible and it does a bunch of damage. So, yeah. I want to check this Archon plate. Ethereal 3 open sockets. That's a great mercenary armor, so we're gonna go ahead and keep that. Also, when you fire from this far away, even though you're stuck in your animation for a while, being far away allows you to, like, move afterwards sometimes, and you can still dodge stuff even though you're, like, stuck in an animation, basically, right? Like, because you have enough time for the missiles to get to you. Also, when you're playing this build, multi-shot tends to take a ton of your mana. And if you're fighting, and if you run into if you run a bunch of undead, because you can't leech off of undead, you'll find yourself starting to get low. Once you run into a monster that's not undead, you just strafe them, and you'll get all your mana back. Because we do so much damage that, and even with like, I think we have like 4% mana leech or something, but when you're doing like thousands of damage, like your mana will refill basically instantly. So that's why I don't worry about a mercenary. Oh yeah, we didn't look at our mercenary. Our mercenary is a Reaper's Toll. This can break physical immunes with the Carbify, and it just does a ton of damage. Crown of Thieves from Life's Leech, and we just found it, and it's cool. So, and then he has a Duriel Shell for resistances and cannot be frozen, and he's got Might. So. That is going to probably be a treachery or something for a mercenary. Blip. Oops. I accidentally drank a potion. I find it fun, like Foul Crow Nests and the sarcophaguses in like Act 2 have like I don't know if they have like 1 billion physical res or something, but it feels like they do. That's like one of the few monsters that like I can shoot and they don't like blow up. Mercenary got a level there. Ooh, that hurt. All right. We need our mercenary to break his. Oops. Let's be careful here. This is definitely not a character I would recommend playing on hardcore, as you might be able to guess because of how frail we are. But it's super fun, so. Oops, behind that fucking rock. And we are slowly taking him down because we do have a little bit of like random charm damage and like cold damage from Raven Frost and stuff. That's what was killing him right there. Oops. Get that curse off of our mercenary. Ah, that sucked. Hate when you get cursed right after you get a experience shrine. It's the worst. So Thresher here, we'll check that to see how many sockets it rolled. That's ethereal. If it was an ethereal with some sockets, we'd keep that, but I don't want to use a worry about rolling that or whatever. All right, and the Terror Zone's changing. So we'll go and move over. That's terrible. Nope. Poison res 9%. I'll give that to somebody. And we'll go over and we'll talk to a car, get this curse off of us, and Outer Steps in the Plains of Despair. Outer Steps doesn't have souls, and the souls are the one thing that would be very scary because we will just instantly explode if souls are anywhere in our vicinity. When doing the playthrough portion with a character like this, I did have more into the vitality. I didn't switch to full dex until I was a bit more comfortable. I think I did it partway through Hell. But you don't have to go full. The more into the vitality you go, you'll do less damage, but you'll have a little bit more health, right? So it'll be a little bit more forgiving. So it's up to you how you want to handle that. You can also just, I don't have like life on charms and stuff, but I again have all the damage and attack rating charms. So I think you get the most out of them. And I can kind of show you here in a second. So we have this is a 12 damage charm. It's like 80 damage on multi-shot and like 100 plus damage on strafe. So another armor that we could use would be a Lionheart. That would be also very good. And here we're seeing our mercenary is pretty strong, and having that Decrepify is really boss. And we can see with Midor, our damage is 4,700, and strafe goes up to 7,400. So We're doing decent damage without might, but when we have our mercenary with his aura up, it's pretty nutty. And again, we could have, it could be better, right? He could have I like the Decrepify and being able to break the physical immunes, but if we wanted to have like a bone break ourselves, then we could like theoretically have him with like a pride or something. I like the setup we have, but there's definitely merits to doing lots of other setups. To get, if you want like a data on what that stuff looks like, there's a guy that I don't know if he's still active on YouTube, but he used to be. Especially when I first started making this character, I learned a lot from him. His name was Boa, and he just did Boas on videos, like just tons and tons and tons of them. And really got in the weeds of like, he tested like all of the endgame bows, all the endgame mercenary setups, like everything you could, like, and just was like, this is what this setup is good at, and this is what this setup is good at various like budget levels too. Like he also, like it was really helpful. He did all the different bows on variants, but physical was his favorite, as it is mine. Although my Frost Maiden is also really fun. I have a Ice Boazon that is using the full Mavinas set, and that's pretty fun too. And we could switch to that at some point if you guys want to see that. It slaps. Again, though, it's only cold damage, so in areas where we have cold immunes, it kind of, you know, yeah, we have the Sunder, and but our damage is obviously much less against those cold immunes. Also, again, with characters like that, we could just, you know, grab an infinity, right? Ooh, Greater Talons. I think that's probably Bartux or something. I know I haven't found that since the update. What shows are you guys watching lately? So I finished up, my brother and I had been watching Deadwood, which I really enjoyed. Here comes a Herald. Okay, Leapers are a little scary. And he's got Holy Freeze and Concentrate. That's alright. Knockback will show him what's up. Also, I can kind of show you some of the bows I used before I used Wind Force. That also worked really well. I'll do that for you here before we end the stream here. That way, like, as you're building the character, you can kind of know, like, oh, this bow is good and whatnot as you make your way towards Wind Force, if you find it, and eventually Faith. Faith is tough because it requires a Jaw rune, and usually people's first Jaw rune goes to Enigma, and then after that there's a lot of competition for it, like people, you know, if you want to do Dual Dreams, that's a bunch of Jaw runes, things like that. But Faith is probably where my next Jaw is going. But but by that same token, I also do really want to do the Dual Dream build. Let's get that out of here. Yeah, so we're not the fastest thing in the world, but I'm also not the fastest player in the world, so, but, you know, like I said, this build's really fun, and I recommend it to anybody who has not tried it. You know, it's not going to be like a Warlock or a Mosaic Sin or something like that where you get a lot of instant gratification. This is a project character. Like, to fully deck her out, it's gonna be very expensive. Like, if you were to fully deck her out with like the perfect charms and stuff online, you're talking like many Jaw runes worth of gear. to really get her where she can like show her true potential, because this character can like smash players 8 if you have all the right stuff. Yep, Bartux. Oh, it rolled poopy. +1. That's poopy. That's not good, but it's good for low levels, so I'll give it to my, I have a new character that could use that. That's poopy. I'll show you some of the old bows that I used to use. I think I still have some of them. So Gold Strike Arch, you can up it, and I put an F rune in it for the knockback. This did really well and carried me through hell. And then I eventually switched out because I found Wind Force. But this bow right here, you can easily clear the game with this. Like, this is a very good bow. Eagle Horn, this is kind of in the similar vein. It has ignore target's defense on this one, so like attack rating isn't as super required, and it has a pile of attack rating on it. So this one is also very good. You can also get like, you know, punch a hole in this, put an effort in it, and there you go. But I liked the Gold Strike Arch a little bit better. It also does have the damage to demons and undead. So that I think was kind of what put it over the top for me. This I used at some point. This I actually don't really recommend, the Melody Bow. I would want to use that on a elemental Boazon. And then Bereza, if you find this can also get the job done for you. The 80% increased attack speed is hilarious, because basically this is a crossbow that shoots like more like a normal bow, and it does a ton of damage. So any of these three can get you through the game, but once you find Wind Force or you get a Faith Bow, it blows these three out of the water. But these three are all really good. So also Insight is great. Now the Insight can be made in bows. That's like, as soon as you get to Nightmare, you make an Insight, and that'll carry you for quite a while. In fact, that's exactly what I did. Is I made an Insight, and basically used that until I found the Gold Strike Arch, and then used Gold Strike Arch until I found the Wind Force. And I think I had a Bereza in there at some point too. Yeah, I think I found the Bereza before the Gold, and then the Gold Strike Arch, and then the. Did we clear this? I think this might be done. Okay, well, we'll check the next area and see if souls are a thing, and if they are, then we're not going to deal with that. But if there's not souls, then we'll go ahead and farm it. Okay, it's looking good so far, because we have Maws and... Yep, okay, so we shouldn't have souls. So we have Maws, and then we have the Hags, and then the Finger Mages. So that's good. Well, the Finger Mages can actually, if there's a whole bunch of them, can actually be a little bit dangerous, because they can all put that stupid red thing on you, and that does, like, drain your health a little bit. And since we're so frail, it can actually be, like, a bit of a problem. But, unless there's like a whole pile of them, we're fine. There's also like rare bows you can find that are also pretty insane. Like a Fool's Mod bow with high enhanced damage and chance to cast Amp. It would be, that's up there with like some of the best bows in the game. Especially if it has like if it rolls like sockets or something, then you can really cook with gas, because you can put jewels in it that are like, you know, and then you're really singing. But ideally, the jewel that would go in this Wind Force, well, I would like to eventually upgrade it. Right now, it's just like 15 IAS and like strength or something. But ideally, it would be a maybe it has some res on it. I don't remember exactly what it is, but 50 IAS and 40 enhanced damage is what would be kind of ideal. Then the Archon staff. One of these days, it'll be Meg songs. One of these days. I've never found Meng songs. I've never found Tyraels. I surprisingly have not found Death's Web or Death's Fathom yet either, but I do have an Astraean, so at least there's that. I have a Griffin's online that I found like season 2, or maybe season 1. But I never found it since, and I have not found it offline. But I've never found the Grandfather. That is, if I find that, I'm gonna probably jump out of my chair, because I remember when I was a kid, before rune words were a thing, Grandfather was the sword, right? That was like, if you would have played a Barbarian, which Barbarian was my original favorite character and the character I played the most, which makes sense because that's what I play in D&D. I played him a ton, and I always wanted a Grandfather, but I never found one. I did not have the a whole lot of access to computer time or the internet when I was a kid, so I really only got to play at friends' houses. So I never really had the chance to grind something like Grandfather, but I did have a friend who had one that I was super jealous. This character is more of a rune farming type of character though, because as you can see, we don't have any magic find. If we put on Enigma, that would give us some magic find. And we could squeeze some magic find in somewhere. Like we could switch our boots out for war traps, and that would probably be fine. We would just be even more glass cannon because we would lose out what little resistances we have. So here's the nice thing, again, because we have Leech, we can literally just stand there and strafe forever and keep our Mercenary alive. Because the other thing that's nice was the Mercenary having Decrepify, it keeps him safe, as well as his Leech, but also our knockback helps keep him safe, because when you knock an enemy back, it puts them in hit recovery animations, so they're not attacking him when they're getting knocked back. Oh shit, he died. Somebody must have crit him or something. Alright, well. That's alright. We'll get him back. That's poopy. 6% magic find. We'll never be sad about that. Crap, I forgot to buy another town portal to replace the one I had. That's alright. Alright, let's kill some of his minions here. Alright, we managed to kill him. I don't know what level of Herald he was, I didn't really pay attention. I have not dropped anything good off of the Heralds since they changed them. Really, before they changed them, I didn't really drop anything good off of them, but it's definitely since they've changed them. The only cool drop I've gotten off of them has been a BK ring. Okay, an S Colossus Volge. Unfortunately, it's superior, so we can't roll it to get sockets, so that's kind of useless. Okay, well that was cool. He had stone skin, I think, and a bunch of other crap, so that was a bit of a slog to kill him. Plus, some of the heralds are just like ridiculously tanky anyway. But there's a scroll to replace our scroll. Yeah, it's one thing I like to do with a lot of my endgame characters is just keep like maybe one scroll on me or some on my belt or something, because rather than using the inventory space for the book. Once I have a torch, usually I don't worry about that until I have a torch. Once I have a torch, then, you know, like our torch here is a 1519, so it's not bad. It's not great. I mean, it's pretty good. It's above average for sure. But yeah, anyway, I was saying, my brother and I were watching Deadwood. We finished that, and now we're moved on to, I'm watching The Last of Us. I finished season 1 yesterday, so I'm gonna start season 2 this evening. But then we're rewatching House of the Dragon, because the new season's gonna be coming out, and we always like to, whenever a new season of a show that we like comes out, we usually will binge the previous stuff, like whether that be at least that's what we did with Game of Thrones. Like that's what I did with Walking Dead. That's another show that my brother hasn't finished yet, so we will get back to that at some point. And there's a few other shows I've been needing to check off the list. Invincible, I still need to finish. I've seen like the first season and a half or something. So this matriarchal part. So I definitely want to finish that. And I still need to watch Attack on Titan. I've seen, like, I started it like years ago, and then actually like I lost my job, and so I didn't have any income, and so in order to save money, I just stopped paying for Netflix or whatever, and then I didn't have the ability to watch the show, and then since I got Netflix back, I just haven't. Like, I always forget about it, and then I think about it, I'm like, oh, I need to finish Attack on Titan, and then I just never actually have done it. But anyway, I really enjoyed the episodes that I did watch, so. I think that's mostly cleared out. And again, because we're a physical character, and we do also have the Reaper's Toll to break physical immunes, we can pretty much farm anywhere. So this would be a character that you could very easily use your shards with. I don't have any of this one yet. I have these other guys, but I don't have this, and I still don't have two. There's still a couple statues I'm missing because I never farmed Uriel, and apparently I don't ever farm Bale. I'm missing a key too, for another set of keys. Actually, that's something I should do. Is I should get that extra last Nihlathak key and then farm some keys. But maybe we'll do that later this week. This is not a character that I like to farm keys with, so I'm not gonna do it. She could do like Countess and stuff fine, but she does best in areas that are like this, like a big open field where she can really let it rip. She also does fine in like corridors, but that she pretty much turn into just a strafe zone at that point because the multi-shot doesn't really matter. We gotta be extra careful not to get hit because everything is lightning enchanted. And we have 2 lightning resist, so we gotta be extra careful about not getting hit, which we already are doing, but even more so. But yeah, what other shows do you guys recommend? I tend to like those, as you can see from the stuff I've been watching. I tend to like kind of like longer, dramatic shows like Game of Thrones and stuff like that. Although obviously, you know, that show didn't end best, but that's been a topic that's been talked to death, so I won't go into that right now. But I didn't hate. I think of the people that I know who like really hated that whole situation, I think I hate it less than most of the people that I know. But because I also, you know, I get it. Like, it would be nice to have a couple extra episodes, yes, but I think people were going to be pissed off regardless with the way that it went, even if we had a couple extra episodes. I think they just would have been a little bit less pissed off, maybe. But one thing that I've found that I find is kind of hilarious over the years is nothing is more toxic to a fandom than itself. Like, I've met so many people that are like, I'm a huge Star Wars fan. Okay, well, what movies do you like? And they only like one of them. Right? Like, they're like, oh, I only like Empire Strikes Back. I'm like, then you're not a Star Wars fan, you're an Empire Strikes Back fan. Like, people that, or like, yeah, I don't know. I've just seen a lot of that in like the last, especially the last like few years, is where it's like, do you even like the thing, or do you just prefer to like bitch and complain about the thing? You see that a lot in like I play Warhammer 40k, and that's like a big thing in 40k, is to just bitch about 40k, and it's like, don't play, man. Like, don't. I mean, I get it. Like, if you've been playing for a long time, and I get people get invested in, like, I want the game to be good. I want the game to be good too. But if the game's not good, I just don't play it for a while. Like, yeah, it sucks. But, or what my friends and I do is, if we don't like the new edition, we'll just play 8th edition because we liked 8th edition or 9th edition or whatever. Well, you played the edition you liked. Like, if you don't like the new one, don't play it. And I get, if you're like, I guess if you're like a tournament goer, you can't really do that, but you know, you kind of just deal, right? Like, Magic players can kind of be like that too, but not. I don't think it's as bad. I'm pretty disconnected from Magic at this point. Like, I still love the game. I think it's probably the best game system ever created by man. But I'm not really a fan of like the creative and decision making and how pushed and power corrupt the game has become in the last few years. Like, I lived through when I first started playing, like not long after I started playing, was Wrath Cycle and Versus Block. So like, I've seen what happens when the game's power level like skyrockets, and it's not sustainable, and that seems to be the arrow how it has to go up now. And also the price. Like, I just have disconnected from Magic because of the cost. Like, I haven't really cracked packs in forever anyway, but aside from like drafting, but I can't even afford to draft anymore. I remember for a long time when I was in college, like, my local shop draft was $10, and if you got top 4, you got a free draft. That was the prize pool. and we loved it, especially for those of us who were good because we got lots of free drafts. But yeah, because packs were like, you know, $4 a piece, or they would do 3 for 10 for draft night. Now a pack, like, you couldn't even get like 2 packs for $10, so it's like I can't even afford to draft, like, so that's out. And I haven't played standard in forever because I don't really enjoy the stuff that they've been doing for standard. I'd like to get into like Pioneer, or not Pioneer, but what's it called, pre-modern. But I also don't want to spend that much on a deck. Like, so yeah, it's just, so like, I guess I'm bitching about Magic, but like, yeah, that's, I think that that's something that I've just noticed is fandoms like to bitch about the thing. Like, I've seen so many posts where people are like, Simpsons fans that are like, well, they haven't made a good Simpsons season since like 2002 or whatever the hell, and I'm like, then why do you still watch it? Like, you don't actually like it, clearly, so like you just hate watching, which I've never understood. That people that like hate watch streamers and stuff, I'm like, I mean, if you want to hate watch me, I guess sure, I could use the views, but like I don't understand the appeal. It's like, if you don't enjoy the thing, why are you engaging with the thing if you don't have to? Right? I don't know. I only watch streamers that I like the stuff that they do. I only watch shows that I enjoy the show. I've had shows that I've quit where I'm like, you know what, this is, it's gotten to the point where this is no longer for me. Alright, I popped right at the end of the Terror Zone, so that's interesting. That guy was weak. That guy with that Herald was GG easy. Alright, let's get out of here. Act 3. I think it's funny that Act 3 is like, in order to get people to actually do Act 3, they'll just like, the whole fucking thing's terrible. It's like, it's just pretty much like, that's funny. Otherwise, Act 3 is pretty much like Mephisto, Trav, and then if you wanted to, if you have a build that's good at Flare jungle, I guess you could do that, but because I know that one's really strong, but so I don't really want to do Act 3 though. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna switch gears a little bit here, and let's get that last key from Nihlathak. Let's do that. And then if the Terror Zone still sucks, we'll do the Arcane and get those keys. And again, since we're switching characters, we'll go over the character and stuff too before we jump in. Kind of showcase all the different characters. As you can see by the skills, we are Mosaic. I don't play this character much because it hurts my eyes, and it's a little bit too OP, but she's really good at farming Nihlathak, so... Alright, so let's go over the character real quick. Shaco. Shaco kicks ass. Magic Find, mana, life, skills, all the stuff. Physical damage reduced, all the things. It's fantastic, so we're using that. This is just a pile of resistances, because our resistances they're okay, right? If we don't have Fade, they're fine. Or we currently have Fade on, so they're fine. Without Fade, they're pretty shitty. We have Hysteria. this is the poor man Enigma, right? It's a ton of faster run walk, but it also adds a ton of attack speed, which is fine. This probably should be Enigma, but again, I'm lazy and I don't want to switch over. So we got War Traps for some more magic find. Nature's Peace, because this is predominantly I use her for farming Nihlathak, and Rest in Peace is, I don't want to get corpse exploded, so I don't want to deal with that, so that's why she has that. String of Years, just some more physical damage reduced, and then the lifesteal is sometimes is a little bit relevant, but not a ton. Raven Frost for Cannot Be Frozen. 210 gloves with some fire resist. These need to be in 220s, but they're not. I don't have those. So charms, we have Geeds, and then some martial arts charms. I happened to find a ton of martial arts skillers, so cool. Cold, and then just like resistance to this life, fast run, like stuff like that. And then we have a Annie and our torch. We do actually, again, we have I have a million assassin torches. This one's only 1510. It's pretty bad, but you know, it's a Mosaic Assassin. She doesn't need much. She's pretty broken. Teleport staff, because I don't want to switch over Enigma. We'll go over the tree here. Traps. We have Death Sentry from gear, which is cool because it helps. I never use it, but it's there. Shadow Disciplines. We have 1 point in a fade and 1 point down to Mind Blast. And we have 1 point in Claw Block because we're using dual claws. You could go and do this kind of stuff if you wanted, but you know, you do whatever. And then maxed out Phoenix Strike, and its synergies are Fist of Fire, Claws of Thunder, and Blades of Ice. So Blades of Ice is maxed, Claws of Thunder is maxed, Fist of Fire is not maxed, but we're putting some points into it. We got 1 point into Cobra Strike, and then we've got maxed out Tiger Strike. The reason we're maxing out Tiger Strike over this thing is the physical damage is how we kill things like, I mean, the physical damage is really nice. Also, with this and this, when the physical damage procs, like, our health instantly refills to full, and so does our mana. So it makes us very difficult to kill. And then 1 point in each of the finishing moves. The main one we use is our kick, but then we also the teleport kick. Mercenary. Vamp Gaze for leech and physical damage reduction and magic damage reduced. Gladiator's Bane for more damage reduced and Cannot Be Frozen. And then Reaper's Toll for Carpify. I've found a bunch of these Reaper's Tolls, so a lot of my characters have them, but anyway, it just seems like that's like an item that really likes me. So anyway, we'll go here. Act 5, Halls of Pain. And you'll see, normally I have my map up, but this character is pretty much the only thing I do with her. Well, it's not the only thing I do with her. It's like probably 75% of what I do with her. So I don't even turn the map on because I just know where to go. So let's build up our charges. And then we have dual mosaics. I didn't show that, but I figure that's fairly obvious. So you just build up your charges. Oops. Oh, there's no one to kick. Give me someone to kick. And the rest, Alright, now we have all of our charges. Now we're cooking with gas. And then we just go boom. Everything dies. Boom. As you can see, there's a lot of white light pollution on the screen, and that's one of the main reason I don't play this very often, because I get chronic migraines, and this is a real good way. If I play this character for too long, I'm gonna get one. So generally, I'll hop in, do some Nihlathak with her, and then that's about it. Like, it's already starting to hurt my eyes, so I may not do this for very long. Sometimes I can handle it, and sometimes I can't. It kind of depends. You know, the human body is weird like that, right? But yeah, that's the character. And that's what I do with her. Just run in here, murder everything. We could probably turn the player's count up, but that makes it so there's quill rats that spawn in here, and when the player count's cranked up, they can kill me. So I just don't worry about it. If I were to farm other areas with her, I'd crank the players up to players 8, but quill rats specifically piss me off. So, all right. we'll do this for a bit. We'll see how it goes again. See how my eyes hold up, but sometimes it's fine and I can play her for like over an hour and it's just whatever. And sometimes, like the other day, I think I played her for like 2 hours and it was fine. It was totally fine. But there's other times where like it's already starting to bother me. So, you know, it's just one of those things. Also, this character is a bit beyond busted, so I tend to like things in. I like stuff. Obviously, I like characters that are strong, but there's a point where I'm kind of like, yeah, what are we doing? It's the Diablo 3, Diablo 4 effect where it becomes too easy, like too much of the screen is blowing up, and I don't. That's where I stop enjoying myself. Like, we're cursed, and we don't give a shit, because, yeah, just everything dies. Also, I don't pick up nearly as much with her because going and opening my stash or my throwing stuff in the cube takes a few seconds, and her charges only have a time limit on them. I kind of wish that we could have some kind of visual indicator for the time limit, but I mean we don't, and so it's not the end of the world. I don't care, but it would be that's one small thing that would be kind of nice. That's the one thing that's annoying with this build is when your charges fall off, then you gotta take like however long to get them all back, and it's kind of annoying. These harpies are the one thing down here that tends to like murder my mercenary, so gotta keep him alive. No keys, nothing. Thanks, Nihlathak. But yeah, she can farm anything in the game. So if this is the type of thing that if you enjoy this, like if the visual thing doesn't bother you, and you want a character, you want to play something that's just kind of busted, this is the best character in the game. People say that Warlock is overclocked, and it is, but this character makes the Warlock look like a bitch. Quite frankly, if you really gear her to the nines and really like min-max her, Mr. Llama did a video where he hacked the game and turned it so that the players count didn't cap out at players 8. You could just go as high as you wanted, and I think he went up to like players like 5,000 or something and was still clearing the game with her. Like, she's absolutely insane. There's never been a character in Diablo 2 that comes close. The closest thing is the pre-nerf Echoing Strike Warlock was the closest thing, and he wasn't even close. Like, he's pretty busted, but like he wasn't close. Like, yeah, he could do Ubers and stuff, but like within a week of Mosaic coming out, she set the world record for how fast you could do Ubers for any class. Like, she's just absurd. As far as like you have the keys, you open the portal and blah blah blah. I think from 0 to hero, she probably doesn't have the record because you have to get the runes to make Mosaic, but as far as once you have them, from the time it takes to like use the keys to open the portals, go fight the little guys, and then go fight the big man, she's the fastest. I don't use her for that just because I have I find that I don't have all the safety gear on her to make it like, so I'm not gonna die. So I still use a paladin for that, but I could very well use her for it. Really, the difference is you just want more resistances, so you just change up your gear a little bit. Like, I would change my armor to, like a smoke or something else that has a pile of resistance on it, like a smoke. And then you could also, at that point, you could take off the Nature's Peace ring. You could put something else, another ring there, so that would really help the resistance thing. The amulet should be Mara's, realistically. and that would also help. So there's other things you can do, and then also the Shaco you could, you know, I'm sure there's something that's technically stronger, but I like having the magic find. So, and then you would probably take off the war travs for either tri-res boots or like gore riders or something, or even goblin toes. Not that you even need the crushing blow. Like this build does so much damage that like you can kill them with the elemental damage generally. Especially like there's kind of a trick to it. You for killing bosses with this character is when you don't fully charge Phoenix Strike, you only get the one charge. And I'll show you what happens when you have the one charge. I'll just do it like on a random monster real quick. See all those meteors? That's what one charge of Phoenix Strike does. And so that's if you're gonna specifically farm bosses, that's what you use. But generally I don't want to like worry about that, so I just like fill up the charges and just go nuts. Turn my brain off. That's what she's really good for. Just turn your brain off and just kill everything in sight. This is like the one monster that's scary. There's two monsters I found that kind of scare me when I'm playing this character. I guess three. It's quill rats, dolls especially, and souls. Which, if you have enough lightning res, you don't have to worry about souls. I have enough that it's not super like end of the world, but like the quill rats and the dolls are the worst, because dolls, you're like, look, we're doing so much damage so fast and we can't hardly see shit. So like if dolls were to run up on me and I kick, like I'm gonna die, right? Like unless I get really lucky and the Cobra Strike procs and I just like instantly refill my health. Which, as you can see, doesn't always proc. I think that's because I think sometimes the elemental is killing them before the physical damage can really do anything. That's my guess. I don't know exactly how it works. But anyway, so this is if you ever want to like know what broken Diablo II feels like, this is the character that you want to play. Like, especially since like you can just play as a Trapsin on the way through the game, because that's also very strong. And then once you find the runes, you can just go nuts. And I don't even have good bases, like particularly. Like I have okay ones, but like, you know, if you found bases that were like +3 to Phoenix Strike or something, like that's really insane. A Grand Matron bow, but I'm not gonna grab that. Also, the fact that she does predominantly of lightning, cold, and physical damage, but she also can, like, depending on if you set up your charges or if you get more Fist of Fire or whatever, you can also add a shitload of fire damage. So you can basically do every element except for, you know, regular poison, but you can do everything else. And so it's kind of like, because of that, you don't really have to worry about immunities at all. Like, you don't need a Sunder Charm with this character. You can just run around and just kick everything in the face and they're gonna die. So also, one of the things I do to try and like help from the visual pollution is to like not look where I'm fighting and kind of like look off to the edges of the screen once I start kicking things. So once you start kicking things, you can kind of just like hold down the button and you're gonna kill everything around you, or just keep clicking and you'll kind of kill everything around you. And then you can teleport in and I can check that Thresher, but I don't care. That guy ran away. He was like, nope, I don't want to deal with that. And I'm like, too bad. But yeah, this character is very, very busted. It is fun in small doses, right? Like, or if you're, like I said, it feels like a Diablo 3 or Diablo 4 character with that, like, it's very much like the power fantasy side of things as far as, and it's supposed to, like, there's not a whole lot of danger left once you're doing this. Nihlathak's being stingy. It's crazy how that works sometimes. Like I was doing we were doing the Vengeance Paladin. We did some we're doing more Countess runs because we still need runes with that character. But like one of the runs I got, like we got the double key drop off of Countess, and it's like, oh, I wasn't even farming for this, but okay. And then sometimes you get lucky and you get stuff like that, and then other times it's just like, man, I'm just like, I'm in here forever. Like, forgot to charge up my lightning. Oops, there we go. There's a Grand Charm. Maybe that's something. Oops. Oh crap, I accidentally put my geads away. That was annoying. Not that anything dropped that's of note anyway, but that's okay. Okay, you guys let me know if you know, what kind of stuff are you enjoying as far as the Diablo 2 content? Are you liking this kind of stream where it's just like play random shit? Do you like the specific character runs, like going back to the Vengeance Paladin and the Trangs set Necro, which I am going to go back to them and finish them. Don't worry, that is going to happen. It's just taking a little bit of a palate cleanser break, but yeah, let me know what you guys like. Also, I do want to do. I'm probably going to play some XCOM this week as well because I've been thinking about it for a while. I want to play. I have played it so much since I bought the damn thing. Like it's weird to. I haven't played it very much at all in the last like couple months. Get that out of here. 12 attack rate is not bad, but I wish it had damage and life on it. Then it would be keeper. But 12 attack ratings, like, we're not gonna worry about that. Thanks, Laharis. You're so helpful, dude. This character also it benefits a ton from having that teleport kick. If not for that ability, I think this build would considerably be worse. Bastard Sword and a Grand Charm. Probably already have that, but we'll check it. Utah, give me 2. Have you guys ever seen the movie Point Break? If you haven't, you should watch it, especially if you like older movies. Like it's a 90s movie, and it's 90s as fuck. Young Keanu Reeves plays Johnny Utah. He's a cop, and he gets transferred to some place in sunny California, where he's trying to catch these bank robbers, and his partner is the older. Because they always do those buddy cop movies. They like to do an older guy and a younger guy, right? So so Keanu Reeves is the younger guy, and then the older guy is Gary Busey, which, as if you know anything about Gary Busey, you might imagine that's pretty awesome. So they're a great little fun duo, and they try and catch these bank robbers, but their theory is that the bank robbers are surfers. A pile attacker. I'm actually going to keep that and give that to somebody. And I'm sure I have a character that wants that. If not, I'll throw it away later. Black Tongue! Have it. But anyway, so they're trying to catch these, the theory is that these surfers are the bank robbers, and so Keanu Reeves has to learn how to surf and go undercover to try and catch these theoretical surfing bank robbers, and then shenanigans ensues, and it's not a comedy or anything. It's like it's like a serious movie, but like, it's the 90s, so there's shenanigans, but it kicks ass. It's a really good movie, and there's the Utah Give Me 2 is from a specific scene in the movie where they're staking a place out, they're doing a sting or whatever, and they're sitting there and they're waiting. And the older guy, Gary Busey, is like, Utah, we're gonna be sitting here for a while, and I'm hungry. There's a shop just down the there's like a hot dog stand or something like just down the street, and he's like, they sell meatball sandwiches, and they're really good. Go get me one. And he's like, okay. And then as he gets out, he's like, Utah, get me 2. And it's just, I don't know, for some reason that line is just like incredibly iconic for me, and most of the people that I know. So yeah, whenever you want 2 of something, and someone's gonna go grab, like someone's like, oh, I'm gonna go grab beers, Utah, give me 2. Yeah, so insight into the stupid things in my life, but yeah, if anyone who hasn't seen that movie, I highly, highly recommend it. I believe it got remade, but don't watch that. Like, watch the original one. That's something that I'll ramble about on this channel is, if you haven't watched it before, is movies and shit. I love movies. My dad's parents actually owned a video store when I was really young, when I still lived in California, so that was really cool. And then my mom was really, really into movies, and so me and my brother grew up. That was like one of the main things that we did, right? Is we had movies. We often didn't have the newest console. I had a PS2 up and through. Like, I've never bought anything newer than a PS2, right? Like, as far as consoles. So we've we had movies, and so so I've seen like a lot of like anything that's like early 2000s or older. There's a good chance that I've seen it if it's even like remotely like known. But obviously I have blind spots, but so I really love movies, and so that's something maybe you'll hear me ramble about from time to time, is movies that I like or whatever. And Point Break is definitely one of them. Kind of in a similar vein of like, I don't want to say it's similar to Speed, because it's, I mean, it does have Keanu Reeves in it, and it is an action movie, and it is a cop movie. Speed is good, but I think Point Break is like way fucking better than Speed. It's way more entertaining for sure. Not that Speed isn't good. I think Speed is a very good movie. I think it's, you know, people say like, my mom used to always say that like, there's a stupid like guy movie, and I'm like, it's good. It has, you know, Keanu Reeves being a cop, and Sandra Bullock being hot, and you know, Hopper being a psychopath, which Dennis Hopper being a psychopath is always fun. So yeah, that's another movie. If you haven't seen Speed, go and watch Speed. In fact, maybe make a marathon of it. Maybe go see Speed and then watch Point Break and get yourself some Keanu Reeves in your life. Young Keanu Reeves. Go watch The Matrix after that, and you get the full trifecta. The first Matrix, not the. I mean, the other ones are okay. I haven't seen the newer one, but the newest one. But the first Matrix is by far the best of the group, for sure. That was when Keanu Reeves is at like. The crazy thing is, I would say he's at the height of his powers, but I feel like since like John Wick and shit, like he's probably more popular now than he was back then, which is crazy because he's like, you know, usually action stars are more popular when they're younger, but you know, not everyone, right? Also, let me know if you guys want to see these random farming videos on YouTube, because I know I haven't been posting on YouTube lately because I was doing the Vengeance Paladin video series, but then like the random parts of just like farming the Countess over and over and over and over again. Didn't think anyone would want to watch it. I mean, maybe they do. Maybe I'm wrong. Let me know if I'm wrong. If I am, I'll start making sure that I post every part of it, even if it's something like that. But also, there was a couple parts that I didn't post because I got like kind of salty, and like I felt like it was shitty content, and I don't want to post shitty content, so I don't like being salty. And when I get salty, which does happen on occasion, to me it's kind of embarrassing, and I don't really want to, because like it's a game, dude. Like, why am I getting salty over it? But you know, it happens. So since like I'm like streaming for fun, like I'm not making any money doing this, so like I should stream things. I should be having fun while I'm streaming, because that's like, otherwise like what the fuck am I doing? So there's that. So there's been a couple of times, ones like lately where like I streamed and I was just like kind of getting irritated, and I was like, I'm not actually having fun. I'm not gonna post this. Yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. I have my standing appointment tomorrow, and then so I'll be streaming probably after that. But maybe I'll hop on in the morning too. I did hop on in the morning the other day, because you know, I know that some people it's easier for them to catch me in the morning. Or, oh, a rare amulet. We finally have something that's, you know, remotely useful. Yeah, we'll see what tomorrow brings. It might be more Diablo 2. It might be XCOM, though. I've been really wanting to play some XCOM. And then let me know if you guys are wanting to see other things. Like, I haven't streamed myself playing other games because, you know, I don't know if people want to see that. Like, I feel comfortable streaming this because I know a lot about Diablo 2. I'm not, like, the best player, but I know I have a lot of knowledge, so I feel like I can share that. Whereas some of the other games I really enjoy, I feel like I can't offer that same thing. 2 to offensive or is life stolen per hit. Too bad we didn't find this with our Vengeance Paladin. That would actually be kind of good. But we didn't, so get out of here. Because he is solo self-found. Poor SOB. Alright. Is there anything good in here? 30 faster run walk. Nah, we want the magic. We'll keep the magic find. Well, the flare is terrorized, so we could switch to that. But I'm kind of having fun doing Nihlathak for now. So, and amazingly, my eyes haven't burned out of my head yet. So we'll go for a little bit more. I would like to find at least 1 key before I give up doing this. You see, we got chunked down and we were like half health, and then like we kick a guy, and then the Cobra Strike procs, and we're just like at full, like right there. Yeah, we're not gonna die. Like, I'm actually gonna grab that flawless ruby here. Oh, there's a rejuve too. One thing I do want to do at some point is I do have Baldur's Gate 3, and I've never really played through it. I've played it for a little bit. I remember I got to a part that kind of pissed me off, and I kind of just like stopped playing. And also like, God, well, still no. He hasn't dropped a shard or a key yet. So I got to a point where it's kind of irritating, and then the other thing too is it is 5th edition based, which anyone who has watched the channel for a while knows that like I love D&D, and I will play 5th edition, but I'm not like a big fan of 5th. I have the controversial opinion that 4th edition is my favorite edition of D&D, and I've played since 3rd, and I can very comfortably say that 4th is my favorite by a large margin, like a country mile. And mainly that comes down to the fact that martial classes are actually like worth playing in that edition, and it's the only edition that they are, really. So yeah. Anyway, because of, I mean, like that is kind of holding it back a little bit for me. But I do want to play it finish playing through it at some point, because like everyone says that it's really, really good, and like my brother played a whole pile of it before he actually like. I forgot where he doesn't remember where he is, but anyway, so maybe playing through that at some point. Let me know if you guys would like to see that. It'd be kind of like not fully blind, but mostly blind, because I mean, like I said, I started it. I don't even think I beat like the first like. I was still in the town with like the druids and shit at the very beginning. Like I don't think I got like really past that. So. If you guys want to see a Baldur's Gate 3 run, I'm down to do it, and I think with chat like being there, I think that would help. Because if I get it to know a place that's like really bullshit, I can just like kind of playing to you guys. We can kind of laugh about it. Whereas if I'm playing by myself and it's just like I get to a part where it's like. So I started a new. So I had the first character, which I made a barbarian, because I was like, barbarian's my favorite class, so I always play barbarian first, if possible. But then I was like, oh, this is 5th edition. I remember now, and barbarian's ass. So it kind of got to the point where I just felt like anyway, so then I tried a second character, and I made like a bard, like a swords bard, because I still like, swinging a sword and stuff, but having casting is just infinitely better than not having casting in modern in 5th edition. So I tried that, and it was pretty decently fun, but then I got to a point where, and it was like really early on, it was like that little there's like a little fort or town that has like got taken over by goblins and shit, and there's like a gnome that's like strapped to the mill or something, or like a windmill, and he's like tied to it, and I was like gonna jump in and save him, and no matter how I approached it, like I tried it like 50 different ways, as soon as the fight starts, one of the goblins would throw this like grenade thing that would just immediately down at least one of my characters, and then I would crit fail like 2 or 3 attacks in a row, and then he would just and then we just get murdered. And I was like, and I tried it like a bunch of times, and it just kept happening like that. And I tried it a bunch of different ways, like approaching it from different angles, and putting my party in different positions and all, like everything I could think of. And it was just every single time he's just like, grenade at least one of your guys, they're dead, and then murderate you. And I was just like, this is really annoying and dumb, and I don't care anymore. But you know, like I said, and maybe it would be better with chat. So like, let me know if you guys want to see Baldur's Gate 3, and maybe we'll do that at some point. My eyes are starting to feel the strain of this, so hopefully we find this key sooner rather than later. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to. I think I can do a couple more runs, and then I'm gonna have to stop. I was gonna say I didn't switch to Cobra Strike. I was like, "Where's my Cobra Strike? Why am I not?" Okay, there it is. One of the other things about me is I call it colorblind. It's not. I don't know if it's technically colorblind, but I have a really hard time perceiving color. Like the difference between like, for example, it's hard to explain, but for example, you know when you go to like Home Depot or something and you're looking at paint. And you go to there's like the blue section, and so apparently there's many different blues. And it's not like this is like a guy thing where it's like, oh, they're all the same to me. It's like, no, I literally cannot tell. Like I can see like 4 different, like if you give me a lineup of like 50 blues or something, I'll see like 4 or 5 of them. And otherwise they all look the same. Like literally I cannot tell the difference. So that being the reason I'm bringing that up is the only reason I can tell if I have Tiger Strike or is Cobra Strike active is because of that green explosion, because it's like a weird like misty thing, and it's like it looks very graphically different from the other ones, because I can't actually tell like the colors of the orbs floating around me. I can't really tell what I have, so. And I know it's not normal colorblindness because I can pass those like colorblind tests, like the red and the green next to each other. Like I can tell them apart usually. And so I always pass the colorblind test like the way you would do as kids. But it wasn't until later on, when I was in like college, I worked at a clothing store, and I was a closer, so. One of the nights I was closing, the manager was like, "Mike, go colorize the towels." And I know that there's like a guide, right? It's like you go from this light to dark, and then there's a color order that you go in. The colors like yellow, green, red, whatever the hell I don't know what the order is, but there's an order that's given, right? And so I did that, and then the manager goes and checks it, I guess, and goes, "Mike, what the hell?" And I'm like, "What do you mean?" And she's like, "Well, you didn't colorize the towels." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And she's like, "They're supposed to go from light to dark." And I was like, I did." And then she like pulls me over there, and she's like, "Does this look not look?" And she's like pulls 2 out, and she's like, I was like, aren't those the same?" And she's like, "No, they're not." And I'm like, I thought she was like fucking with me at first, and then like some of the other employees came over. And they're like, "Can you legitimately not?" I'm like, "I legitimately think that those are the same. Like, I cannot tell. Like, they both look the same. Like, they're both light blue, right?" Like, so anyway, that's a long-winded way of saying like I have difficulty perceiving colors, and so the little orbs flying around my character, I can't really tell what I have. So anyway, that's why I tend to, like, when I'm charging up, you'll see, like, I don't just do like, oh, 3 hits and then I know where I'm at. I kind of just like hit it. I'll do like a few more than 3, right? Because like, A, if I miss, but B, I also want to make sure, like, be triple sure that I'm getting everything, because once the animation like this, I can tell, like, okay, I have everything, because I know what it looks like. But like how much bullshit is on the screen when you have everything. But being able to be like, oh, I have the green one. Yeah, no fucking clue. The only reason I can tell I have the green one is because that misty crap that was coming off me. So, and when my health randomly just refills, that's also a pretty good dead giveaway. But yeah, I remember it used to piss off my ex because she's like, you're just being a guy and you think they're all the same. Like, no, I legitimately like I would love to give you an opinion on the colors, right? But like I can't. Like, I legitimately, like, there are the colors that I can see, I will give you my opinion. Like, there's definitely colors that I like and definitely ones I don't, right? Like, I don't like fuchsia, for example. I can see it and I don't like it. But there are some colors that I like, like I really like burgundy. Granted, what I think is burgundy apparently is not always burgundy, so whoops. Oh, we got, okay, that could be a towels. Let's see if we got lucky. Alright. We'll chuck it at Kane when we get back to town. That's a fun thing. What's the shittiest job you've ever worked? My shittiest job I ever worked, I worked for like a day, and it sucked. Also, like, I got lucky because I found something else and I was able to like get the hell out of there. But I worked at the cannery for a day. That was god awful. Mainly because at least the position they had me doing, I felt was god awful, because it was extremely repetitive, which every position at the cannery seemingly is repetitive. I mean, I get that, but it was I was putting they called it the can roller, and so I was putting the dollars. I'm like 99% sure I already have one laying around. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. But like required me to do like this, like basically like grab a pile of cans and then flip my wrist forward, like up, so my hands were like palms forward, and then put them on this wheel, or on this like conveyor belt, which was fine until you did it 2,000 times in a day. And then basically like it gave me very much like immediate carpal tunnel syndrome. It like really sucked. Also, the guy that was, so it was really weird too, like, so unfortunately my trainer didn't speak English, so like I couldn't really understand what he was telling me. Like, so he spoke it a little bit, so like I could kind of piece together what he was telling me. And I'm kind of used to that, because, like, my grandmother on my dad's side her English wasn't the best. So like I'm kind of used to it, right? Like kind of piecing it together. But and so so we were able to communicate like a little bit, but not like super clear. And so that was a bit of a pain in the ass. But then also, like, I wasn't given a box knife for some reason, yet I had to open, like, they would bring me pallets of stuff, cans that were shrink wrapped with like that really thick like industrial shrink wrap shit that you can't just like rip open with your hands very well. Yeah, there's a World Stone Shard finally. And so I had to basically, part of what I did was every so often some guy would come along. He was an older guy, and he would come by with a box knife, and he would cut open all, like, however many pallets I had sitting there, and then I'd continue to do what I was doing. And then every once in a while, somebody would bring more pallets along and get rid of the ones that I had that were empty. And that was how it worked. Well, there was like a good 2 hours where that guy just didn't show up to cut open my shit. And so I just like had like this giant line of boxes, and I kept asking people like, hey man, like when is this dude coming? Like, and there's the key. And unfortunately, like, you know, like I said, like a lot of my coworkers didn't really speak English very well, so I couldn't really communicate very well, like what I needed, and they didn't know what I was asking them. So basically, long story short, is I couldn't do my job for like an hour or more, and then the boss comes out and he starts screaming at me, and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Like, and I was like, "Dude, I don't have a knife. Like, you guys didn't give me a knife, and I've asked for one repeatedly, and nobody knows what I'm talking about. So like, what do you want me to do?" Anyway, it was like it was really annoying, but and then also it pretty much like instantly gave me carpal tunnel syndrome, and like my wrists were like, I literally couldn't move my wrists for like several days after that. And but luckily I got a new job like the next day, so I didn't have to continue to. That was a 10%er. We'll keep this one. But anyway, that was my shittiest job I ever had was that. I've had other like crap. I didn't put my Annie in the thing. Whatever. We'll jump in and put the Annie back because we're gonna switch gears here. We're gonna go. Unless we'll see what the Terror Zone is. I haven't been paying attention, but it's starting to hurt my eyes, so I definitely need to switch to something else. See what other crappy jobs I've had. I was a sign guy for a little while. That was actually like the guys that stand on the side. I don't know if that's still a thing, but like when I was younger, like when I was in college, they would have guys that would stand on the side of the road and they'd have like a pizza place or a haircut place or car dealership or whatever the hell it was, and they would have a sign, and they would, you know, a lot of the guys would like spin the sign around and do shit like that. And I didn't really do that, but I am a hip hop dancer, and so when I was in college, I danced all the time. And so I would like dance with the sign, and that job, it was a shitty job, right? Because you're literally standing in the heat all day. But luckily, I danced, so I got to wear like headphones and dance all day, which made it fun. So that was a weird one. Very, very weird. Unfortunately, I actually was a sign guy for two different companies. The first one was for this hair salon, like a haircut place. It was like a Great Clips type of place. It was nothing special. But they had like a special where they were doing like $10 haircuts or whatever, and they wanted to advertise that. And so they paid me like minimum wage or whatever to go out there with the sign, and basically I would go out there and I would dance for an hour to 2 hours, and then I would come inside and have a break, and then, you know, so on. Anyway, we're gonna switch to this character, so we're gonna do the arcane. And so then I had that job for like basically for a few weeks while they did the promotion, and it was like a temporary thing, but it was actually pretty fun because I actually lost like a decent amount of weight doing that too. Because like, I mean, I wasn't out of shape really at that point, but when you're dancing 4 to 8 hours a day, that'll happen. So that was kind of a fun gig. And then I had then I got hired as a sign guy for this other company. It was a mattress store. And when they hired me, they told me that I would be doing the sign thing. And I was like, okay, well, I've already had experience doing this and that kind of time. And the guy said, oh, okay, that's good. And then when they actually hired me, when I got there to start, they told me I had to wear this stupid mattress costume. It was like one of those like mascot costumes. And that thing was god-awful because it was in the middle of summer. And I don't know if you've ever been inside one of those things, but it's basically a giant burlap sack with a fan that keeps it inflated, and it's just hot as hell. Like, it's basically, you're like sitting inside of an oven. So so when I had that job, it was like you work an hour and then you come in for 10 minutes, take the suit off, and then you go back out. But that was miserable. And then not only that, so I was only there for a couple of weeks because it was a special thing they were doing. And then the guy didn't pay me, and it was like so much so that I had to go to the Better Business Bureau and like have them like collect my check for me. So that was probably that in a lot of ways that was the worst job I ever had, because that guy was an asshole and he just didn't pay me my money. Which, don't do that. If you hire someone to do work for you, pay them their money. Like, come on now, like, be better. Like, that's ridiculously scummy. Okay, let's go over this character, and then because we're gonna do some more farming for keys. And this is my key. This is one of my key characters I like to key farm the arcane with. She's just pretty good at it. I have a couple characters that are good at it, but she's kind of the one I want to play right now. So we are a Demon Machine enchant source. So this is a very specific build. I call it the Plasma Rifle Sorceress because that's kind of what it feels like, because we're shooting a crossbow that shoots fire and explosions, so it feels like a plasma rifle to me. Anyway, so we have Demon Machine. I have an IAS jewel in it, and basically what this does is it's a crossbow. It has piercing attack. So with this and Razor Tail, we have 99% pierce. So basically every time. And it fires explosive arrows or bolts. So when this hits somebody, an enemy, it explodes. And since it pierces like every time, it'll hit the enemy behind them, which will then explode, and then the enemy behind them, which will then explode. So in the arcane, when everybody's in a line, or like for example in cows where everyone's clumped together, the more enemies are clumped together, the more ridiculous the damage on this thing is, because of the explosions. Now the way that this works is, see how it, I mean, this damage is pretty pathetic, right? It's 160 to 628, but check this out. Boom. Now we're doing 5,000 damage, right? So we'll go to the tree first and kind of go over how this works. So we have 1 point wonder in frozen armor, static. We have a few points, teleport obviously, and then we're energy shield. We're working on that. That's where our points are going now. We've maxed the telekinesis. Now they're going into energy shield. But here's where our damage comes from. Enchant. It adds fire damage and attack rating. We don't really care about the attack rating, but it adds a crap ton of fire damage. And then we have Fire Mastery to increase the fire damage, and Warmth as a synergy, which is also good for our energy shield. But the way this works, and the way the item works, is Explosive Arrow. Any added fire damage on your character adds to the explosion itself. And so since this fires explosive arrows, our enchant damage affects the explosion, and then we have our Fire Mastery affects both the explosive arrows and the enchant. So you add all those things together, and we're doing 5,000 damage a shot. We then have Flickering Flame. This is just pumps fire skills and gives us a resist fire aura to help make up for our fire asunder. It also gives enemy fire minus 12% enemy fire res, some mana, which mana is great because we're energy source or energy shield. Skin of the Viper Magi. This is for the +1 to skill. In resistances, the faster cast rate we do use a little bit because we static things. Sometimes we'll static, and then shoot an arrow and it'll blow up the whole pack. +2 to fire skills amulet with some strength and dexterity. Just again more damage from the plus to skills. Inferno strides. These are great because they have that added fire damage, and that adds to Fire Mastery affects that for one, and then it affects our explosive arrow. So if we take this off, look how much damage we lose. We lose like 100 damage. So that's pretty crazy. And then it also gives us +30 fire res to help make up for our Sunder Charm, and it increases our maximum fire resist. So these are great. Resist all ring with a little bit with damage reduced by 1. Razor Tail we need. Raven Frost we need. And then Mage Fist is for a fire build again. If we take this off, we lose like 1,200. We lose like 200 damage. So charms, just random resistance and stuff. Life, Magic Find. What do we have? And a fire sunder. And then on swap we have Spirit and Lidless Wall. And this is we'll swap over to this, we'll static, and then we'll swap back and shoot an arrow and kill everything. And that's basically the way the character works. For our stats, we need 100, when we have this side open, we need we were going up to 156 strength, ideally, because we were going to switch to a Spirit Monarch. I just haven't done it yet. So 103 strength is definitely required because you need mainly for the Flickering Flame, right? And ideally, you need 80 strength and 95 dex. for this build. Any strength beyond that is just like heavier armor and stuff. So that's the dex, and then everything else we have some points in vitality and some points in energy. When this is done, it's going to be all energy because it's an energy shield. But for now, we have a split because we're not there yet. Again, these when we're done, this is going to be an SOJ. This, and then yeah, that's going to be, and then you could make this an SOJ, but I like having the Ravenfrost for the Cannot Be Frozen. If you put Cannot Be Frozen somewhere else, then you would do dual SOJs for the plus to fire skills and plus to the pile of mana it gives you. And then we'll look at our mercenary. Insight, because it's busted with energy shield. He didn't roll the best, but he did get 5 critical strikes, and it's on a cryptic axe, so he can keep himself alive. Cure helmet, because it's busted with prayer and insight, because of the way that those 3 auras are synergies, and they all tick it. Then when you have all 3 of them, they stack in a weird way and makes so they're better than some other parts. And then he has a shaft stop for a pile of physical damage reduced and some life. All right. So then also he does, and we can see his damage is 615 to 1800. Now he's doing up to 3k, right? Because that's the thing that's nice about the enchant is we can enchant our mercenary and ourselves. And then we'll put on our frozen armor. We're gonna go to the arcane, and I think he's over here. Let's check real quick. Nope, he's down. Those ghoul lords are annoying. They have 1 billion health. These guys are fire immune, so they're kind of a pain in the ass, but main reason I like to use her down here is because she she murderates the ghosts, honestly. I have a character that is better at this, but you see these guys are fire immune, and look at, we're still killing them decently fast with this. So you can farm pretty much anywhere here with this. Obviously, any place that doesn't have fire immunes, like Stony Tune or something, you're going to really crush. She's really good for cows because, again, the more clumped the enemies are, the better, because of the way her the pierce and the explosions work. Yeah, I mostly just wanted to show you guys this character. We may, we'll see how it goes for a little bit, but we may switch to one of the other characters to farm this area, because I did forget that these idiots are fire immune, which we can still easily kill them, but it's not the fastest in the world. So. But this build is super fun. You do have to have Demon Machine though. Like, that's the non-negotiable. Otherwise, the build just doesn't work. There are other versions of thing. There's like a starter. There's like Ravenclaw, which is only level 15, so you can use that early in the game, and then you switch to. There's various ones that kind of build up to Demon Machine that you can use. But Demon Machine's like the end game one, so. We'll go ahead and grab the Annie back from her, and then we'll actually do it with. I'll show you guys a different character, and we'll do. I think we'll use our lightning sorceress. Anything that shoots like a big beam down a line is really good for farming and the arcane. That's kind of the gist of this. Oh, actually, let's look at this. What we have a change of. I think it's Eldritch and Shank. It is Eldritch. Okay, we're actually going to stick with this because we're going to farm Eldritch. Also, we buffed with Demon Machine out last time. We're gonna actually switch to our caster gear and buff this time, and our damage will be even better. So, on me, on him. Energy shield. So now our damage is actually even better. We're up to 66k, and our mercenary is up to 3,500. So, all right. So, as you can see, again, it's this build is pretty sick. And again, it's like once you have your buffs up, you kind of just pull the trigger, right? That's why I said it feels to me it's like I call it the plasma rifle sorceress, because it kind of just feels like you're just shooting a machine gun. You just kind of hold down the button. Oh crap. I tried to teleport and it didn't go through. Well, that sucked. Anyway, don't want to deal with that. Some upgrades for this build. The main one is, I don't know what happened to them, but I thought at one point I had Ormus robes with enchant and fire skill damage. Apparently I don't, but I thought I did. That would be a huge upgrade for this build. Would be that over the Viper Magi. So that would be kind of a big one. Alright, gremlins are far less dangerous than the last idiots we spawned. Okay. Again, we want them to clump up as much as possible, because then we can get the most out of our explosions. But this character, when you get it like fully maxed out with like, you know, fire skillers and all that kind of crap, it's pretty insane. Mine is not nearly that point yet, but yeah, for having not really that great of stuff, this is pretty not bad, right? And the thing is, you can do every area with her, because as long as there's a good monster density, that's like the main thing. Like if areas where the monster density is a little bit lower, like she would be miserable in like Trav. Like you definitely, that's not her strength. Her strength is high density, like flare jungle, this kind of crap, cows. That's where she shines. I'll show you guys one more character before I we'll finish up, and then we'll finish up the Terror Zone with this last character here. So this is Storm. She is my lightning sorceress. So let's go grab the Annie out of the box, and then I'll show you kind of what she does. Her gear is very basic, so I haven't put a ton of time into her, but she is pretty sweet. Okay, so we have a Lightning Sunder, Lightning Skiller, 40 life. That was a sick rip. That was a sick rip. And then just some lightning, some resistances. Pilot resistances on a Rock Stopper, Dual Spirits, +3 to lightning skills, Amulet, Viper Magi, some Tri-Res Boots, Lightning Resistant Magic Find, Pile of Resistances, Lightning Resist, and Fire Resist, Mage Fist. And then our tree, again, we have Frozen Armor, we have 1 Point Wonder down into Thunderstorm, maxed out Lightning Mastery, Chain Lightning, Lightning itself, and we're next is going to be maxing, and then we also maxed out Nova, and then we're putting points into Charge Bolt. We could switch this over to being full on Energy Shield, but I've tried it and I'm not like super big fan of that. So, and then I don't know whether it's 2 points in Warmth, there's only supposed to be 1, but whoops. So let's go to Heroth. And then obviously for this character, the Mercenary would be very much better suited to be a Infinity Merc. That's also true for the fire, the Machine Gun Sorceress. Infinity helps that build a lot. But I only have 1 Infinity, and it's not currently on this guy, so he's just rocking Insight and Cure and Dirty Shell. But we're doing 5 to 20,000 damage with lightning, and then Thunderstorm is just chips in as well. So oops, wrong one. And then we have static if we need it, but we generally don't. As you can see, if it is not lightning immune, it just dies. Like, also, if you're into Emperor Palpatine, like I am, you get some unlimited power action going on here. You could use the chain lightning or lightning, either way. I am using lightning just because it just goes in a straight line. That's pretty easy. In some ways it is better because chain lightning only chains a certain number of times, so if everything is just clumped together, this is technically better. But chain lightning is better in certain circumstances, like because I think it bounces like 5 or 6 times or something. But yeah, this build's sweet. So we're gonna finish out this Terror Zone with this. We'll see what the next Terror Zone is. If it's something cool that I want to do, we'll keep playing. Otherwise, I'm gonna take a break and go have dinner because it is now. This Terror Zone's going to end at 7:30 at night, so at my time. And I haven't eaten yet since breakfast. So we're going to do that. But we'll do the rest of this. We'll finish out this Terror Zone, and we'll see what's next. If the next Terror Zone is something really good, like Tal's Tomb or something, we might just keep going. But Tal's Tomb, I think, was a year earlier, so I don't think that's going to happen. I also do have a Nova source. That is a very different playstyle from Lightning. although it does a similar thing because it does lightning damage. Nova, you want to teleport right in the middle of everything and then just hope blow it up. This is very different, obviously, because we're standing back. Nova is, if you're geared to the 9s, Nova is better. If you're not, I think this is better. And I just have both because I don't like to just, I can just respec into Nova. I like having both, so I have both. And I think they play very, very differently, so like, I think it's totally worth to have both characters because sometimes I want to be crazy and teleport in the middle of shit, and sometimes I don't, so. I have most of the different, like, commonly seen sorceress builds. Like, I have lighting, I have Nova, I have the Fireball and Meteor, I have like a Hydra source, I'm working on a Firewall source, I have a Hydra Orb source that does fire and cold, I have a Blizzard source, and then I also have one that, I have some weird ones too, like I have a Charged Bolt sorceress that's, and a Frost Nova sorceress. Which the Frost Nova one also throws Frozen Orbs because that's the synergy, or they have the same synergy or something like that. I can't remember, but anyway. So I have a whole bunch of different source builds. I also have of course, the machine gun source, but there's other weird ones for sure. That's one of the things I like about this game is there's always weird stuff you can do, like I was watching Double Billy. If you never heard of him, check him out if you like weird shit. He does like off meta stuff, and his builds are sweet, and I've done a few of them, and I think that's where I learned about the plasma rifle source. Was from him. I could be wrong. I could have heard. It might have been somewhere else that I've heard about it, but I'm pretty sure it was him. He does really good content, and he had a video that I watched earlier today that was like cause, there's a build that people know about called the Tesla Den, which is just stacking a pile of Holy Shock with the Dream Rune word. You can have two of them equipped at the same time, which gives you like 1 billion levels of Holy Shock, and then you run Conviction and blah blah blah. Well, if you have the Dream Aura, the dreams on the source, that's the Holy Shock's a lightning skill, and so you can have it centered. It works with Lightning Mastery, so it's pretty nuts. And so you do the dual dream, and then you can shoot a bow, or you can throw a knife, or whatever the hell you want to do. His version was throwing War Strike with it, which is even sicker because War Strike has a chance to cast Nova on striking. So you kind of have this like you have all the synergies for Nova, so you're casting. So the Nova actually hurts when you cast it, and then it's just, and then you have the Lightning Mastery, which helps your dream. And then also because you have dual dream, the lightning pulse damage is a ton, but also like the main thing is the damage it adds to your weapon is ridiculous. So you're actually like, attacking and killing things. It's really cool. And then if you're interested in like off meta shit, check him out. He's got really, really good stuff. You'll see some of that stuff from me too, because like I'm at the point where I've played basically every build, so like I'm looking for weird shit now to kind of keep myself entertained, especially since I got so anyway. So if we static first, we can then, it's a little bit easier to kill them, but usually this is fast enough that I don't really worry about it, but technically if you want to go maximum speed, you jump in, you static them first, and then you lightning them. That's the fastest way of doing it. Which makes it a little bit more similar to the Nova Source playstyle, where Nova, you jump in, you static, and then you Nova the fuck out of them, and they die. And that's kind of one of the main reasons I don't do it very often, like that way usually, is I already have a Nova Source, and so I'm kind of... But yeah, technically that is the fastest way of doing it, and yeah. I was gonna say, why is it taking so long to kill them? The Terror Zone is lightning enchanted, so they're all like ridiculously resistant. I was like, why is this not killing things? And like, normally this kills things way faster than this. That makes sense. All right. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of characters, so over the course of the time as we do these, like farming videos, you'll get to see kind of different characters and what they do and all that jazz. But fast trade recovering a pile of attack rating. That's better than the other attack rating one I found, right? Oh, there's a javelin skill. I forgot about that. There it is. Yeah, so when they're not lighting immune, they just die. Again, if you have Infinity and you actually like equip it, that makes it a lot better. Some upgrades for this character that you would be looking for: Griffin's Eye Diadem is best in slot, pretty much. A lightning roll to shoot his temper is pretty insane. There's a Worldstone Shard. Things like that. Double SOJ would be also good. Arachnid Mesh would be good. Yeah, lightning is just such a powerful skill that it's incredibly variable though, because it's like literal 5 damage minimum, 20k max. So, I mean, if you average it out, we're hitting like 10k on average. So, I mean, that's nuts. Like, it's like Fireball, right? But Fireball does like 10 to some odd k, but at least our version. Okay, we actually have all the different Worldstone Shards. Ooh, I wonder if we can, because that's what you need for pimping out the Ye Old Sunder, right? Yeah, I don't know where I put it. I probably gave it to somebody. So that's annoying. These are lightning in. Actually, I don't want to deal with that. I normally don't care, but they're cursed and they have frenzy and they're lightning immune. So everything I don't want to deal with. Is that ridiculously hot anywhere else for folks? It's like 80 degrees here today, which I know for some places, like if you live in California, you're probably like, 80 degrees, that's nothing. I'm from Oregon, man. 80 degrees is a lot, and especially it used to be. It's not as much, not really so anymore, honestly, which is ridiculous. But I remember when I first moved here when I was a kid in the 90s, like if it got up to like 90 was like sweltering, and like 100 like didn't happen. Like it happened sometimes. Like it was very rare. Now like every summer we're hitting like 105. Like it's absurd. Like so anyone who says like global warming is not a thing, like I see it in my actual life. Like it's legitimately screwed the oh my god, it's legitimately screwed up the weather in my home state. So like it's completely different from what it was like when I was a kid. Like not even close. I hate quill rats. Oh my god, there's so many of them. Alright, let's do this. Yeah, those quill rats were eating us alive. But yeah, that's one of the things. That's one thing that I definitely have noticed. And also, our seasons are really screwed up. When I first moved to Oregon, it rained way more than it rains now. Like Oregon's always been known as like a really rainy state. It's really not anymore. Like we still get more rain than probably most places, but it's not like it used to be. It used to be like fucking England, where it was like raining all the time. Now it's like it rains, yeah, but it's like it's nothing like it used to be. It's crazy. Like anyone who's lived in Oregon for a long time can tell you, like we're not even playing the same game anymore. Like it's a completely different world. It's wild. Like cursed again, and immune to lightning guys again. So Shank's gonna be surrounded by these idiots, so we may just do Eldritch. We'll try though, we'll see. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Oh, he's immune to everything. Alright. That's one thing also that I will kind of be a proponent of, that a lot of people, when they first get into Diablo II, especially if they come from other games, like newer games, where there's not immunities, kind of bang their head out. Some people might be inclined to like bang their head out the wall and like kill him. Don't bother. Like you don't have to put yourself through that agony. You could just run it again or go do something else. You're running past enemies that you can't fight, or that are ridiculously pain in the ass to fight, is part of the game. Like for example, on the playthrough, before you have like all your gear and everything, and your like resistances are all set and all that stuff, you may just straight up run away from quill rats because they just murder the shit out of you. Especially if they're cursed. You know, and that's totally fine. Like, that's something, it's a very different experience than modern games, right? Modern games, you just kill everything and the screen blows up and all that jazz. But that's not Diablo 2. Diablo 2, sometimes you gotta know when to pick your battles and when to run away. That's actually something that I think is missing from a lot of games, and I actually, like when I run D&D, I don't do it very often, but I do it from time to time, where I will put an encounter in there that the party will lose, and they should know to run away. Just because they're playing D&D, because I feel like a lot of times it's like, oh, we're playing D&D, we're the heroes, and the heroes always win. It's like, well, no. You know, I want this story to be engaging, and sometimes to make it engaging, there needs to be fights that you can't just bang your head at the wall and just do it. Sometimes you need to recalibrate where you're at and get more powerful and come back later. And I do that, so that's something that I do in D&D that not a lot of DMs I don't think do as much anymore. I feel like it was more popular when I was younger, like older editions of D&D, like Advanced and stuff. Like, they definitely fucked you. They were like, no, there's going to be shit in here that you can't kill. Anyway, so that's just Diablo 2 is like that, where you're not supposed to fight everything. You can if you're like Mosaic Assassin. There's certain, or like Hammerden can fight basically everything, like, because he has magic damage. There's only a handful of monsters in the game that he can't like stomp, but he does run away from them because they will kick his ass. Most notably is the Unraveler, Akmil, the Unraveler from Baal's Throne Room, the Wave 2. Good luck. Like, you can kill the skeletons, but they're just going to keep respawning because the Unravelers are immune to magic. So your mercenary has to kill them, or you have to figure something out. Put a point in a smite or something, but pile of lightning rows. Okay. So that's part of the game, is figuring out how to deal with stuff like that. And during your playthrough, before you have your Sunder Charm and all that kind of crap, you figure it out. Either you run away from them, or if it's something you have to kill, like ancients or something, and maybe a mercenary does it or whatever. Cursed with the damage auras is insane, because the curse will proc off of the damage ticks, and that's just crazy. Oh, and Terror Zone just ended, so I didn't check and see what the new one is. Uh-oh. Okay. Started to make a weird sound there, and I was like, is it gonna crash? Let's see what the new one is. And see if we want to keep going or maybe take a break, so... Spider Forest and all that stuff. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it there. So, I am very hungry. So anyway, thank everyone for watching, as always, and I really appreciate you guys coming in and chatting and just watching on the YouTube and stuff. Again, let me know if you want to see me post these kind of just like farming videos to YouTube, and I will. So I'll probably post this one and see if anybody watches it, and see how it goes. But thanks everybody for watching. I will be streaming tomorrow at some point, probably, most likely. Like I said, I have an appointment tomorrow, but I do plan to stream at least some point at some point tomorrow. I do have some adulting to do, but all right. Thanks guys so much again for watching, and I'll see you soon. Have a good one.